Let's go ahead and open up the scene grid. You should have this view. Remember, you want to go to the scenes and scene grid. Inside of there, we'll go down, let's see, inside of our particles, we'll go down to our vapor trail. The vapor trail, think of it, there's going to be, you could set up multiple ones. We're going to do one for it here. The vapor steam kind of forcing its way upwards. That way we'll get to kind of take a look at how we can use our size over lifetime and create the steam effect for it. Let's go ahead and go over to our hierarchy and click on the create. And inside of it, go down to your particle system and place a particle system in. Let's rename this one, and we'll just call this one vapor steam. There we go. And put the position at 0, 0, 0. Alright, so now we have this one in. Let's go ahead and go to our renderer, and we're just going to put our vapor steam material. Let's go ahead and drag that over to the material option. So now we should see the vapor steam texture that we're going to use for it. Alright, the sort mode, let's go ahead and do this one by distance. Let's go ahead and go back up to the top here. Our duration, let's go ahead and set it to 1. The start lifetime, on this one, I'm just going to do a little bit more of a variance between the two. We'll go for about a 4 to 7, 4 to 8 range for it. For the start speed, we actually want to do the start speed kind of fast, and then we'll actually control it from the size over lifetime as well. So let's do a constant between the two here. And I'm going to do a start speed at, we'll start off with about 10 and go to, oops, we get the wrong one. Hard to see the lines there. There we go. So we'll do about a 10 to a 15 range. There we go. And then the start size, let's go ahead and do the size of this one. We'll go for about a 7, 8, maybe even a 6 to 8, somewhere around there if you want. We're going to go from a 6 to a 7. Alright, oh, make sure your start speed, if it's zeroed out on it, be sure that you go back to 10 again. So we want enough of a push going upward that we have this motion going up right here. And then we'll start to correct it and everything with our other options. Alright. The next part on the start color, I'm going to take my color. Now you could actually take your color and darken it if you want like a darker steam. I'm going to go for a lighter color, but also I'm going to go for a little bit of an opaque color. So we'll take the opacity down about a 190, 180, somewhere around there. Alright, for the gravity multiplier, we're going to set a negative value, negative 0.1, somewhere around there. Let's see. I'm going to just kind of drag it here for a second to see. Yeah. Okay, so we'll do about a negative 0.1. We want just a little bit of a boost to it. We don't want too much though. Alright, we're going to do this one under the world, so that if you want to drag it around, it'll work with it. Max particles on this, let's set this to about 100. Inside the emission rate, and we'll open up both the emission and the shapes. The emission, we'll go for anywhere between 5 to 10, and go for about 8 on it. And then for the shape, we'll do cone. The angle, we don't want to actually, because the steam's going to just be coming from one spot, we want this set to 0. We just want it coming straight up, just like steam spewing out of a spot. So we'll do a 0 on that one. Our radius on it also, let's go ahead and take this down. We're going to start with a really small, do like a, let's see, point, let's see how that looks. Yeah, we'll do a 0.1 on this. And then be sure that it's going from the base. And then we'll also do just the random direction for it creating it out there. Right. So we've got a nice upward motion happening with it. We want to go ahead and go to our limit velocity over lifetime. So limiting the velocity over the lifetime, if we check on it, you'll notice that all of a sudden it's going to slow down for us. We're going to do a separate axis on this part, that way we can actually define how it goes. If you needed to, you could actually change which velocity point you're looking for. We'll go ahead and leave all of them at 1. We'll also change from a local to a world. And then the dampen amount, instead of being 1, which is really going to lock it in place, we'll go ahead and do a we'll do a 0.1 somewhere around here. There we go. So now we've got this really nice fast motion pushing upwards, and then we've got it the dampening where it's going fast and then slows down as it goes up there. Alright. So let's go from there. We'll go ahead and go down to our, actually let's do our, where's our size over lifetime? There we go. So size over lifetime, let's go ahead and check on how we want that to actually work out. We want to take the curve on it. Let's go ahead and click on our curve. Our curve for this one, this is where we actually want to shape it. So we currently have this whole thing going up as a solid block, but if we were wanting some steam just to spew out of one little, one spigot or one little spot, then we could take our amount. The overall amount, let's say we want this to be about 3 for the amount size. I'm going to stretch this out a little bit here. I want the starting point to be really small. So we'll take this down to almost, probably like a 0.2, there we go, somewhere around a 0.2 range right there. And then we'll take it all the way up to 3. Now notice, we have it coming out right here. And then actually, let's take that shape size, let's make that a little bit smaller here. Let's see if that makes a difference on it. Yeah, we'll do a 0.05 with it. Okay, so on the curves right here, we're taking it from here all the way up, but let's be a little bit more controlling. We want it to be a curve point to about here, and then we want it to go all the way up to about another quarter of the way up, and then control another point there. So let's go ahead and have a kind of a nice hard drop off right here, and from the looks of it, let's see if we can take it. We'll take this point and curve it right there. There we go. And be sure you're just kind of watching here when you're actually working with your curve, because again, you can curve it to change it however you want with it. So we'll take that one. I'm going to actually, instead of being even, I'm going to take the, we'll go for our right tangent to be free. That way I can grab this one separate, and then we'll start to pull this one up separate of it. There we go. And then for this one, I'm going to drag it up. That way we're kind of creating this little arc right here. That way we get this little curve out. And then as it comes upwards, we're getting that nice little curve extra for it right here. Let's see if we can get right about there with it. There we go. So now we're getting a little bit more of a curve. We're getting that kind of shoot out and then going up with it. So this is going to be our size over lifetime, and then let's go to our rotation over lifetime right here. And rotation over lifetime, we could actually do the random between two curves. And if we were to do this, let's say for instance we take it down to about a 40 and 40 on both sides here, and then I'm just going to add a key, and we'll take these 2 points in and have them both have a random curve value from a negative 45, 0, rotating, so it kind of rotates in and around itself like that. Alright, so there's our rotation over lifetime. And then the next thing that we want to do is the, let's find our color over lifetime right here. And the color over lifetime, let's go ahead and click on it, and let's be sure that we've got a nice gradient happening for us. So we want to, again, we don't want to lose that first part, but we do want to make sure that the very end on the alpha and the top kind of goes away once it hits the top of it. And then we'll place one more alpha point up here, and let's drag that one up a little bit heavier. We don't want too heavy where we see a pop, but we want enough that you see it starts to fade, then completely fades out. There we go. Looking pretty good. I'm going to change my sort mode to the, we'll do oldest first. Let's see how that one looks real quick. And then we can also try youngest first. Yeah, actually let's stick with the youngest first. That way we have the billowing smoke feel like it's going, you see this, and then the other stuff lays on. Alright. So now we've got a basic element pulling up all of these, going through there. You've got a really nice forceful moment right here at the bottom as it comes through, and that part of it, that's really just kind of dependent on how you want to have it set up. You could also go, from the looks of it, we'll go ahead and add in one little piece right here and drop this down on the alpha. Let's see how we can See if this will look good. There we go. So I'm going to take that one at 25. So it's got it right there. It feels like it's kind of shooting out and pushing up right there. And then based on this one, the part that you can adjust with it is that you've got the initial force coming out through the limit the velocity over lifetime. If you drag this up and down, notice you can see how by dragging it up you can basically crimp it. If I was to take it down even less than, so I could take it down to a 0.01, and you can see that it's going to go up, and if I keep following it, it starts to billow up at the top like that. So it's all about the force over the lifetime. You're just changing how it dampens, how long it takes before it actually connects up. We'll go for about a 0.05 on it and see how this one's going to look for us. There we go. So that actually works out a little bit better. We've got a nice little puff right here, and then it's so thick that it kind of just stops, and then it starts to billow out right there. Alright. So looking at that one, I'd probably call that one just about done. My start color, I might actually add, let's see, I might add just a little bit of a tint to it. And then I'm going to drop the alpha on it just a little bit more. There we go. So then you've got kind of a steam fill coming up, and then you've got this nice little cloud that hangs for a while. Alright, so that'll be kind of one example of what you could do with a steam vapor with it. Last thing we want to do is just left click and drag this one over to your steam trail and drop it in. And then that'll finish us off on that one.